and I guess we can start. So, well, let me start traditionally by showing you some slides, just in case maybe you haven't seen slides for a while, right? In your job, you don't see them often. So probably it's something new, something unusual at the webinar. We're going to spend an hour talking about, the most important things, if we might say so, your goals and your key values, and how do we pursue our goals based on the key values. Now, some of the material, some of the content might be familiar to you. Hopefully something will be new, but refreshing this and thinking. I'm sorry? Okay, it just seemed to me. So a few words about myself for those who we meet for the first time. My name is Marina Ivanenko. I am a business trainer, coach, and career consultant. I have some corporate experience working in PepsiCo as the manager for organizational development. I was responsible for L&D and PMP processes in Eastern Europe, and work as a trainer already for about 15 years and a coach. My two expert areas are managing self and managing others. By managing others, I mean leadership, management, communication, team building, and managing self is something that concerns our topic today. And emotional intelligence, everything that is about your goals. Oh, I see some chat activity with, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. You can't hear properly. Or can you hear us now? Just let us know if you can switch the CC captions. Yes, just let us know if you can do that. I'm based in Kiev, Ukraine. So we've had an electricity cutoff now, which adds a bit to our resilience training as well today. But we are fully charged, and I think we can go on. And I'm very happy to see some of my colleagues from corporate leadership learning solutions group. Thank you very much for being here today, for your support. So the agenda is 3 key points. As I've mentioned, we're going to talk about what is most important to you, some of the value-based goal setting and key motivation elements, maybe refresh some of them or maybe review some of them today. Look at the question, why do we sometimes give up on our goals, even when we logically know this is good for us, when we agree that this commitment is important for us, somehow we sabotage our best intentions, sabotage our goals. So how do we overcome some of the blockers and barriers, and are we aware of them? And some of the tactics and practical things, how not to fail yourself. So practices that may help to stay aligned with your goals and your values. So as an energizer, let's do a very quick activity, answering the question on the slide. What do you need right now? Could you put a word or two in the chat on what do you need right now? Maybe some food for thought, maybe some challenge, maybe an ice cream would be nice, maybe some sleep. Yes, Jenny, I know it's late in the evening right now for you, so maybe you're sleeping. So anything that you think that you really need right now. Ice cream, okay, I see. Coffee, coffee in the evening, okay. More time. Oh, I'd love that too. Yes, I would join that. Oh, thank you. Very diverse answers. Time for reflection after a few busy days. Oh, we might use this opportunity right now. Yes, a little bit more focus. Time off. Coffee, but do not drink it in the afternoon. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. So that was very quick, really. The question, what do we really want or what do we need? Is it so easy to answer always, right? So how do we know what we really want? Like what is expected of us? What do people want from us? So let's dive into this. How do we know that? The picture on the slide is a canyon. At least that's what Google told me. I honestly haven't seen lots of canyons. So I want to take this picture to illustrate the law of gradual change. As you probably know, canyons appear from deterioration of the soil. Gradually, water deteriorates soil, and then we have these deep canyons. But they don't appear overnight. Yes, it's a gradual process. So sometimes I ask my coach customers, my coach clients and partners, what is most important for you? What are the most important priorities in your life? And the answers I get is sometimes my health, my commitment to my spouse or my romantic partner, to be a good parent for my children, my spiritual practices, religious practices, my principles. And then if I ask them sort of provocative question, would you trade all those precious values and principles if I promise you some success in your organization? Of course, I hear no. But then if I ask you to look at the choices that you make every day, every week, every month, yes, so marriages don't break up during the night. We are working on it. We don't lose our health in 30 minutes. Yes, we are working on it. And we don't become emotionally alienated, distant from our children when they're old enough, like 18 or 19, and they say, what do you know about my life, right? Where were you when I needed you? So this fall in the canyon is rather sudden, and the danger of this gradual law of change, of gradual change, is that we don't notice these minor changes, how the most important things for us may get deteriorated with time. So the question is, how do we stop this deterioration of the most important things? And first of all, we determine what are the most important things for us. And I'd like to ask you to take part in a very short survey in Mentimeter. If you could take your smartphone and use the QR code on the slide. Or if you like, you can go to mentimeter.com and use this code and put 3 words in the survey answering the question, what are the most important things, most valuable things in your life? Let me give you a couple of minutes. If you need my help, just let me know. So you just scan the QR code. I hope you've done that before. You put your smartphone, you scan the code. Okay, I see some words appearing already. Let's take another minute. Let me stop the demonstration for a while and share some of the results with you then. Okay. We have still people adding some words, but just let me open the Mentimeter screen so we can see some of the answers coincide. So there are some similar answers I see. But some of them are different, and again, we are all different. These are some of the diverse answers. Oops, sorry, change that. So we have family, health, God, friends, my health, work-life balance, meaningful life, very interesting, independence, space, being outside, self-realization, contribution, ideas. Wonderful. Thank you. We have 39 responses so far. And as I see, yes, some of them coincide. We are all focused on family, health, and relationships, but some of the answers are quite unique. Thank you. Thank you very much. So coming back to the presentation, once we found out what is the most important thing for us, how do we measure? How do we know if it's in danger of deterioration? Are we focusing on the right things? Are we working on the right things? So I want to talk a little bit, just a refresher reminder. Maybe most of you know this tool called the balance wheel, or wheel of life balance. What it helps us to do is to check and see what are the most important things, what are the most valuable things for us in life today. Are there any changes? And do we want any changes in some areas that can lead to positive changes in our life? Now, I refresh this tool every new year with some very good resolutions, profoundly sabotaging some of them, of course, but trying not to. And what it also helps us is when we talk about this gradual law of change, it helps to work against it. So as it looks, if you have a pen and a paper and you would like to follow and do it with me once again, or refresh the one that you already have and that you're working on it, could you please find your own wheel that you work on, or just a piece of paper and a pencil? It's rather simple. You just draw a circle on the sheet of paper and divide it into 8 sectors. Now, these sectors represent the most important thing, something that is present in your life today, or you really want it to be present. For example, now on the slide, it's just an example. It's a very individual thing, so you can name the sectors the way you like. So there is no one way to do it. You see, there are lots of examples of the areas of your life that you can put there, like your health, your family, your independence, your self-realization, your development, financial side, your friends. But there are only 8 sectors, so just pick the most important ones, not everything. If you like to do it in a new way, if you are doing it often and you don't want to do it in the old way, you can do it with the roles that you play in life. Instead of naming the sectors of your life, like areas, you can name the roles, like a woman, a mother, a sister, a counselor, a community member, a business owner, etc. So let me give you a couple of seconds to do that. If you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me at any time. Okay. Joe, thank you for your comment. Yes, sometimes it's interesting to base this tool on roles. Yes. Okay, so once you gave the name of the sectors, if you can see, there is a scale inside of each sector from 0 to 10. So what I'd like you to do next is to score each of the sector by the scale from 1 to 10, where 10 is perfect, that you're happy with this sector, you're most satisfied with it, nothing more to wish, right? Perfect. And well, it won't be even, it won't be similar in each sector, as you see in the example. I rarely or almost never saw when people had all 10s. You know, we always want more, right? Even if we reach our goal, the next minute we say, okay, what's next? What's more? Now, once you've rated the sectors, look at the segments that you have and see, is there any sector, 1 or 2, maybe 1, that you would like to have some changes in it, that you'd like to improve? And how would that impact other sectors? Like, would you like to move it, score up 1 or 2 points probably? Now, when you've chosen the sector, it's just a way to find where do you need to have focus right now. Maybe some of the sectors are being deteriorated more than others today. Maybe you haven't attended it or put focus on some of the sectors, and you need to pay attention to the sector number 7 or 8 rather than which you scored number 3. For example, you could score number 3 your hobbies, but you think if you don't go fishing tomorrow, nothing dramatic will happen. But something with attending your financial needs or careers need attention. So once you found this important sector and you think you have some steps in mind, some goals, let me offer you a very quick reflection exercise. Looking at your wheel, could you put 1 or 2 words as the answers to the following question? Question 1 would be, where do I spend too much of my time? By definition, too much means you think you might benefit by spending less time, maybe on the sector or maybe some activity like social media or anything else, something that you think is consuming too much of your time. Second question is, where do I spend most of my time? Well, if you're professional working adult, probably that would be work, but again, maybe different. So where do I spend too much of my time? Where do I spend most of my time? Question number 3, how does it correspond to my values? Completely, not so much, ever. Question number 4, what or who controls my life? Question number 5, if I had as much time as I want, how would I spend it? Like imagine there's unlimited amount of time. How would you use it if there is as much time as you need? And question number 6, what prevents me from doing it now? If you're struggling with that one, maybe you should look at your answer for question number 4. Maybe that's the same person or the same thing. Who knows? So I don't ask you to share this with me. This is just for the self-reflection. But I'd like to share a quick tool that might help you work on your balance wheel and prevent this gradual law of change. I borrowed it from the book called Executive Stamina by Marty Seligman and Joshua Seligman, where they talk about resilience. And I thought it might be a good connection to our personal values and the tool which we just described. So the tool is called Shifts and Drifts. As our motivation is not stable, yes, today we want to do something, tomorrow we don't have the motivation to continue our trainings or to learn foreign language or to change any of our habits. The thing is to keep focus on important things, and it also helps us not to give up on our goals in the long term. If some of your goals require long-term effort, this system helps you not to give up, because I don't know about you, but I certainly have started several times, a new life from Monday morning, when you give some commitments to yourself and saying from Monday morning, I start learning this, or I give up smoking, or I start jogging. And then you wake up on Monday morning and your brain offers you a wonderful excuses why you should not be doing this today. So shifts and drift systems, or minimums and maximums, helps you when you look at your life balance wheel. And the first part is about preventing the gradual law of change. So you plan some minimums that you can do for the sector that you've chosen. And the message goes, this is the minimum that I can do every day in this area. Otherwise, I put this area to danger. So if this is about relationships or about some habits, or if you want to acquire some skills, for example, you're learning a foreign language, like, for example, you're learning English, and today you don't feel like speaking English or learning English at all. So the minimum should feel really easy. It should be really easy to perform. For example, today I'm watching 5 minutes YouTube clip. That's all I can give to English language today, nothing else, right? So, but you have the feeling that you go on, you continue, you didn't give up, you don't fail yourself. The other part is about progressing, is about moving the score closer to 10 on your balance wheel. When you say to yourself, this is an important part of my life, and this is maximum that I can do every day. If I achieve this, I will significantly improve the quality of my life. So maximum might be attending a lesson with a tutor or a speaking group in Skype or doing something more profoundly in progressing with your skill. Now, when you balance these minimums and maximums, it helps you to keep focus on the important things. And what I like about this system, that it helps you not to give up, because we don't start these goals like an Olympic goal, right? Then when your life divides between before and after, when you start doing something, and then you give up, and it's difficult to find the breath to start over again once you failed yourself, right? Any questions or thoughts on the system? Pretty clear. Okay. Thank you. So we were talking about not doing some good things for ourselves, which we probably have just took commitment to. So why do we fail ourselves? Why do we sabotage our goals? So the danger of it is, first of all, we lose peace of mind because we avoid the task, but we think about it and we do nothing, which builds up our anxiety. We also lose self-respect, especially if it's the second time or the third time we try to do something or change in our life. So we give ourselves commitments and then we fail to meet them. And we say, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not learning English or doing sports or giving up smoking? And if the goal also is connected to some commitments to other people, we upset other people. So why do you think we give up on goals? What can be some barriers or blockers? Could you put a word or two in the chat for me? Like even the good things that you promise yourself or you put down for yourself. Why do you think people give up on goals? What can be in our way? Not enough motivation. Yes, Irene, thank you very much. That can happen when we don't clearly understand why. It's so hard and takes a long time. Right, long-term goals and difficult to achieve. Thank you. Yes, right. Too much like hard work, constantly new priorities, lots of things coming your way. Thank you. Not really my goal. Yes, that can be true. Yes, it's not my goal. Stress. Yeah, stress kills a lot of goals. Motivation, not enough power, too much information. Fear. That's one of the barriers. Not my goal also. Feeling I have to and not always want to. Right. It's a must, but it's not really mine. Some of it can be fixed. Some of it, it's just some job we have to perform even if we don't really love it, right? Like, for example, writing reports. Yes, I'm procrastinating this part all the time, though it's my task for some projects and goals. Inner resistance, that's right. Something instead of achieving a goal, change to something. Okay, so you already have a tactics, Norbert. Thank you for sharing that. Right. So some of the barriers that you've mentioned, yes, some fears, some inner blockers or barriers, and inner barriers usually can be stronger than outside. If you don't believe you can, yes, then you will find lots of excuses. For example, it won't work. I don't believe I can. Or I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough support. This can be a part of our inner dialogue, right? Or the opinion of other people. My colleague thinks it won't work, or my boss doesn't believe in me. or somebody told me that I'm not capable, or it's too good to be true. I can't believe because it's too good. It's it's like a dream. Then we don't believe something good may happen. Fears, and you mentioned that people in professional environment can fear to look ridiculous. That's why some changes can be really scary. Yes, what if I make a fool of myself? That's why some people are afraid of public speaking. They say, oh, what if I look ridiculous, or what if I don't look confident? And we imagine the worst scenarios, sometimes the worst scenarios which are not even possible. Yes. Oh, what if I make a mistake in my presentation and I get fired? Is it possible that you get fired? Oh, yes, of course, everybody who is hired can be fired. But how probable it is that you make a mistake and you get fired? Yes, but we are very professional sometimes in scaring ourselves. Oh, yes. Self-efficacy, biggest determinant of achieving anything is your belief you can. I absolutely support that. Yes. And you will find resources and help and answers. But if you tell yourself that you can't, that you don't believe in yourself, then we have some excuses, even some of them which would not sound reasonable. For example, one of them, if only. I would say a bit of a destructional sort of mental trap for us when we put a condition to the past. Oh, if only I had entered a medical or university back then, I would have been a doctor now. But okay, oh, if only I had born to a rich family, or if only I had been born to a different country. So we're putting a condition to the past which lifts the responsibility from ourselves in. So what do you want? Well, I can't because if only it had happened then, but it hadn't. So now this is a good excuse for me not to follow my dream or my goal. Perfectionist, probably you've encountered some of these phrases. It's not ideal, I'm not good enough. So we are comparing ourselves and sometimes not to the real standards, but something that can be perfect. Or we are not starting to work on our goals unless we are sure that we'll do it perfectly. Yes, this block of the white canvas or the white sheet that you want to do it perfectly, so you're not sure and you're not starting it. Does anything resonate from this slide? Put a plus in the chat if any of this resonates with you. Maybe you've heard this, or maybe you tell yourself these things sometimes. Yes, thank you. If only. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Now, can I ask you to share some of the things, some of the tasks which you avoid or put off, what you have in your task list, but you put off? Like from my side, I put off a lot of report writing. I hate writing reports. So I put them off like an exam in college, like the very last minute I have to do them. Irene, I see you raised your hand. Yes, please. Do you have a question?
Yes. No, I want to share, or do you offer to type in the chat?
Oh, yes, please do. Please share.
I had it today. So I postpone making order in my documentation. So I live in Germany. We have a lot of papers, and
Yes.
it always a mess in my papers. And I had literally since months my table covered like with piles. And basically what I have done yesterday, I asked myself like, okay, what can help me to start? And then I went to post office and bought a folder.
Okay.
And it was a connection trick because I also applied for citizenship, and then I needed to take part of those documents and start like collecting for citizenship. That was a big motivation. And then I bought only two folders. Today, I think 2-3 hours, I have everything in order. And then like it's also another mental trap. I was thinking I need months to make an order in my paper, but it took me like 2-3 hours. I don't know.
Wow, magical folders. I need those. Thank you very much for sharing. Yes, and you sometimes you won't guess where the incentive may come from. Yes, something to make dull work fun, something to break the barrier. Thank you very much for sharing this. Well, I don't know who if we can enjoy admin work or paperwork. I'm sure people who are very good in details, they do it perfectly, and we can borrow some of the strategies for people who can do it very well. Do we have another comment? Avoid to start learning a particular software tool. Okay. Uh, it's a very good comment, Norbert. Thank you very much. Sometimes we avoid start learning something because we are already professionals in other things. And this is quite new where we may feel like I'm talking about myself now. I can sabotage learning something because I feel a bit clumsy in it. And I say, oh no, accounting, I'm not good in accounting. So I would better check. Oh, I have my emails to check. That's right. I don't have time for accounting. Oh, and there's a call. Oh, look, there's a WhatsApp group activity. People are asking about some advice and training. I have to do this. So I find excuses to do everything and anything, even ironing and washing, which I also hate, but rather not to start learning an accounting because I feel really, really, really silly when I do the accounting. So thank you very much. And the reasons why the second point, yes, the reasons why I put them off. Do we always know the reasons why we sabotage our goals, why we're not doing it? I like this very simple illustration. It worked well for me for a couple of for a couple of times, where this we can say blocker or problem or not doing it is very obvious, like leaves on the tree. Yes, when we see the crown, the leaves, it's very obvious. So there's the problem. Leaves grow on branches, so the branches would be my actions. I am doing something to keep the problem going, to keep it warm, to keep it growing. Or rather, I'm not doing anything and the problem sits there, it's still there. But the most important thing is where is it rooted? So I am doing something because I believe it's the way to do. I have some beliefs or some limiting beliefs probably, which nurtures my actions and keeps the problem going. Like people may say, I just don't have time for my big goals or priorities. I'm swamped. Yeah, my problem is I am under pressure. I am so busy. I'm swamped. And I say, well, how did you create this problem? And after a while, the person will say, okay, I don't delegate. I do everything myself. Yes. And I say, okay, why are you doing this? Because it's easier to do something myself rather than explain 100 times or correct mistakes after people. So my happy employees go to work by 5 p.m. and I stay until 9 p.m. So I'm swamped. Yes. So however many management courses the person takes, and he may know 15 or 50 tools for delegation, he will not be using them because he has this belief that you can't let it out of control. Yes, and the person comes to a coaching session, so give me a magical tool for delegation. I know there is one. Just give me the newest, the most innovative, because I need to delegate. So the same happens with our goals, something we believe in, as we've talked about limiting beliefs, yes, that causes us to do the same actions and keeps us from doing the important things. Now, sorry, works the wrong way now. Why do we sabotage our goals? Some of the answers from previous webinar, some people say that the fear of change or uncertainty. What if I pursue my big goal? What if I start learning accounting, or what if I start doing something new? What happens? I'm not sure. I don't have a clear vision. Fear to fail. That's also especially if the stakes are high. Just avoiding discomfort of leaving your comfort zone, doing something new, or communicating with people you don't want to communicate. Unclear. We have maybe a very interesting vision, but it's not specific. Is there a question? No. Okay. Failure in the past. Yes, some maximalism would say, well, I fell off the bike once, so probably I'm the only person genetically incapable of riding the bikes. Yeah, so just because I know I've tried, I did. Yeah, I fall. So Dull or unpleasant work, yes, and resistance to change, which is an emotional component that's only natural. So how to approach this if it really is important for us and we're sabotaging some of our priorities? Two ways that I'd like to offer you to look at is building the sense of urgency, where you realize that status quo is more dangerous than starting this journey, than changing. And the other is connecting your motivation, your goals to key values. So this answering the question, what's in it for me, really? When we talk about building urgency, I like to use Burkhardt formula. I don't know if you're familiar with this. It looks rather simple, but whenever I put a goal for myself, like for next year or something, I like to check the goal by these criteria. Do I have all the components in my goal? Have I thought them through? Or do I need even to write them down? Now, the first component is dissatisfaction with the current state of things. Have I really thought it through? Like, if you think about your wheel of life balance right now and the sector which you have chosen, some steps, some goals in there, do you really feel that this urge that, okay, I'm fed up with this state, I need to change it, I need to change things. It's time for something, for action. When you know you are fed up with something, you don't want this. The second, of course, is what do you want? And it sounds a simple question, but it's not always simple. Like, how do you know that this is the vision that would really inspire you? What do you really want? Like, I don't want problems in relationships. I don't want toxic relationships or excessive politics in the corporate life. Okay, what do you want? Oh, I don't know, but this should stop. Okay, this will stop. And what will start? What is the opposite? What is the vision of the future? So, uh, you know probably that if you form a vision or a goal, well, recommended not to put negation there, not to put not. I don't want this. Yes, if I like to play this game. If you look at your palm right now in your hand, and I ask you to imagine big, round, not apple. Yeah, so nothing, or we start thinking about like tomato, not apple. What is not apple? Anything really. So now we have something in the chat. First steps, buy 2 folders. Yes, Irene, thank you. I have the mental note of the folders now. And first steps, absolutely. When you have this inspiring vision of an apple or whatever, very important to start moving forward in your goal is to really understand, where do I start? Maybe not all the journey, not all the phases, not all the steps and resources and everything, but at least where shall I start? What would be clear, achievable first steps? So the combination of the three would be stronger than our natural resistance to change. If we thought through the dissatisfaction, the urges, what urges us, and get rid of complacency, when we have a clear vision and clear steps, then we overcome the barriers. Now, this is one way to approach the blockers. The other way is connecting to your key values. And you had a very good question in chat, like, this is not really my goal. Is it really my goal? Or is it expected of me? Oh, everybody wants to be managers. Okay, when everybody wants, then probably I want that too, right? Or it's expected, it's obvious. Obvious for whom, right? Well, it's a common knowledge. Well, is it really, right? So do we really have the motivation? Do we own the goal? Now, there is a tool in coaching, and maybe you know that tool, called frame of the end result. When you put a goal and first you ask, what do you want to achieve? Of course, specific and positive. Then we ask ourselves, why is this important? Right? Then we see, how can you achieve it? Like steps. And of course, the vision. How would you know that you achieved what you wanted? What would be the proof? How would you feel? What would you see? The context around you, your feeling, how would you experience it? The second step is difficult to, it's very, very important, I would say. Why is it the value? Yes, so this is my goal, and why is it important? Now, the trick is, if you want to find a value, is we can aim at one or two words. For example, let's take some things that we don't like to do, some task, to write a report. Yes, and so what do you want to achieve? Okay, I want to write the report. Small goal, but rather unpleasant. Why is it important? Well, because this is my reputation with the customer. And then you ask a question, and why is your reputation with the customer important? Well, it's our strong relationships, reliability. Why is the strong relationships important? Well, the financial side. I will have more business from this customer. I would have more money, simply speaking, yes? And then I ask a silly question, and why do you need money? And here you may see very diverse answers. People would say, well, it's security, safety. And the other person would tell me, well, I supply for my family. I'm doing it for my family. The other person would say, well, pleasure, of course. Yes, vacation, things. In a group, if we had one and the same goal, for example, a task, and we ask this question several times, different people will come up with different word or two words. And this is exactly the value, something that would energize your goal. And you can write this word right next to the task. For example, finish report by Friday, and in brackets, family or pleasure. Yes, something that you would not associate the task if you just write it down for the first time. But this is where the energy comes from, where you really understand by performing this action or achieving this task, you are really investing into something bigger. So this way you can heat up your motivation a little bit. Any questions? Yes? No? It's important to remember that you ask this question, why is it important? Not to the same one here, but to the answer. Like, why is it important to learn English? Because I will have communication with my partners all over the world. And why is it important to have communication with your partners all over the world? Okay. Sometimes you need to ask this question more than 3 times. And if you're doing it for yourself, not with the partner, it's a good advice to answer it in writing, because our brain can jump from one thought to another. So when you're doing this in a sequence in writing, in a more disciplined way, then you will find the answer quicker. And in this very tool, the last point also is very important for motivating and overcoming barriers. When you have a clear vision, a picture, as I said, what is the end result? Now, if you think of something you are working on now, some of your goals or very important tasks, do you have a clear picture of the end result? How would it look? What would happen when you reach your goal? What would be your inner feelings? How would you feel? What would change around you? What specific proof would you have that it happened? Sometimes it can be pretty obvious. Sometimes when it comes to developing skills or changing the attitude, we need to spend a bit more time on thinking about it. So if you have such a goal right now, could you write down in a word or two on a piece of paper the end result? Like, what are you aiming at? For example, English fluent level, or financial sum like this, or all papers signed, filed, and I have the citizenship, right? Applied and received the citizenship. Or I don't know, any project that you are doing now. Something that would be a description of the result of your goal. There is a trick or a tool which I like to use to put a bit more energy to our goal, if it's really important, which is called Indian idea. When you put your goal somewhere in the middle of the list, and then in the format, as I said, something as a finished result when it's finished. And then you try to continue like fingers from the goals. For example, okay, if I have learned English already fluently in my organization, I would have more chances of promotion. That's one consequence. When it already happens, what doors will be opened, right? So far the door is closed. I'm not there yet. But when it happens, I will have more chances of promotion. That's one. Second, my CV will cost more because foreign language adds up to qualification. I would have access to some L&D resources which are not being translated. So I would have access to some resources for learning and development. That's next one. I would travel more easily. I don't need a translator or a companion to help me around the countries, etc. So you put some benefits from what would you have when the result is there, and then continue the steps as long as you can think of. For example, I get a promotion and a relocation. Then I will have more financial ability to finish finally redecorating my home. I will pay the loan for my student son, right? Or I do this. And each step you continue one or two times, like as much as you can. And then come back and look at your goal, at your result, and see how your attitude changed to this result. How many doors will be open? What opportunities are there that would be possible for you? Opportunities that would be opened for you once you've reached your goal. Sometimes it's a good thing to visualize it and put it somewhere if it's really, really important, if it's some of, about your core values, your key goals, and you feel like you're struggling with motivation, right? Like when you're doing the shifts and drifts, minimums and maximums, when you feel that you're on minimum for too long and you are giving the goal the least you can. So you need some reminder for yourself. Why am I doing this? Why am I in this project in the first place? Yes, and you have this visualization, what opportunities it can have and how many doors will be opened for you. If you need a bit, to be a bit more, motivated in not so ecological way, let's put it this way, you can take a big marker and cross it and say, you will never have this. You're sabotaging for too long. In another 5 years, and there will be another 10 years, and you will never learn English. So I'm crossing it physically. And then you will feel, oh, no, I don't want to lose this. Then you feel, like a burning platform under you, a burning chair. So now I need a vision board for each goal. Well, I don't know if it's for each goal, but if it's really important and you need to keep focus, again, coming back for the slow changes, deterioration. So it helps when you have it somewhere in one place and you can visualize. So in a good way, you just continue looking at benefits, like what do I get? In a not so good way to yourself, yes, if you need to urge yourself a bit more, you may do the same exercise saying, what are you risking if you're not moving forward? What are you losing if you're not moving forward? What consequences will be there? Something that you lose forever, something that you would not change, but you will regret if you don't start moving to this goal today. And it's important not to think of yourself as you're failing yourself or that you're lazy, right? We've just talked about that. We all have barriers. We all have natural emotional resistance to change. But the way we help ourselves, yes, if we keep focus on the main things, now that is important. Any questions on this part or comments? You could just raise your hand or put in the chat if you like. Okay. All right, we have a question in the chat. Oh, thank you very much for your comments. I think the go through makes it more real. Well, That's a good thing to know. Well, we have a few minutes left, so if you could have any questions or comments, you could just raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask it. Or if I could ask you to put a couple of words of feedback in the chat, that would be great. What do you think about the tools and the approach and everything we talked about? Thank you very much for your comments. I'm reading them. Thank you very much. Yes, I like using Becquerel formula myself. That makes it quite clear. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments. And I wish you all the best of luck in pursuing your goals and values. If you'd like to have, a couple of minutes left, if you'd like to share something or ask a question, because it was only my talking head all the time, you're very welcome.
I really want to know what Norbert is going to do about learning Power BI now.
I think I have to start learning Power BI. I think I think it's a big mountain, a big hurdle. But often my experience is once you start, diving in, it starts to make fun, and you learn a little bit and ask colleagues and so on, and you get better and better. Currently, I have more interesting topics and fields to work on and to make myself busy. But on the other hand, the project will get a further push once I solve this Power BI thing. So it needs to be done, and it will be done, I'm sure. I've already told colleagues that I need to start Power BI, so that's the first step.
It can be one of the bold goals to say, make some more free time for myself. One of the goals, right?
Yeah.
I once had an ambition goal to have 2 hours free on Friday when I was working in corporate world, and I felt like I'm swamped and I can't breathe from all the multitasking and emails and work. And so, well, I'm having 2 hours free on Friday, and I started cleaning my schedule, finding some distractors and how I use email, etc., to make it as a goal, really. Yeah. So sounds like challenging
as
goals.
a goal. In this particular case, it will I will start by starting with an online course, so it does not hurt too much. It's just digesting information, playing around a little bit, and then the hard thing will be to try to transfer it into real life. So, well.
Yeah, that's my challenge as well. When I like to study a lot and listen to speakers, and then the challenge is to put it in life, because
yes.
Yeah, we all know, people who know a lot, like doctors who teach us how to get slimmer, and they are not slim. Yes, some of the trainers who teach us how to make families, how to find your love. And I say, well, dear trainer, are you married for the 8th time and successfully? Yes, so they do know something, but they're not using it. So my challenge always is to take at least 1 point or 2 points from whatever I study, and then it will work for me, because otherwise I invest the time and then I'm not using it. So
the trainers who teach time management are always late, Marina. I like those ones.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly. Yeah, that's what we call creative time management then, right? Yes.
Okay. I have to step out. Thanks very much, Marina.
Thank you very much for participating. I was very happy to see you all, and thank you for your input.
A real treat. Thanks, Marina. It's lovely to see you.
So much. Thanks so much, Marina.
Thank you, Marina. Been excellent.
Very much.
Thank you, Marina. A really good hour.
Thank you very much. Thank you for making it.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye, colleagues. Bye.
Bye, Jacqueline.
Bye. Jenny, I see you've switched on the recording, right?